Awesome. Okay, it's live. Perfect. Let me double check quickly to make sure that the audio levels are all fine and everything. Yikes, that was loud. I don't see it yet. There we are. Perfect. All right. Make sure this is posted to Twitter at least. Okay, it auto-posted something to Twitter. That's not what I want. I want the direct link. Happy Halo New Year. Let's jam to some MCC and celebrate 2023. That's generic and fluffy enough, right? All right. Hey, we've already got some people. Halo Nerd, Fellas, The Anarchy Spud. That's pretty good. I like that name. For real, mate, are you serious? That's pretty good. Turn on some lights behind you. Of course, we have the beautiful Poyo. Yeah, it is a bit ominous, isn't it? Hang on. I don't intend to give off an ominous atmosphere. Give me 1 second, everybody. Watch this. Watch this, I say. Okay, there we go. Oh my God. Babe, did you do that? I didn't even notice her do that. She put... I thought they were just going to be above me. That's cute. I like that. Captain Nix has finally caught the stream. LNG, hey man, how are you doing? I am doing fantastic. The real question is, how are you guys doing? What do you guys think of the last 3 uploads, I want to say? All right, there we go. Just had to tweak something. He gonna get ambushed by Flood. Hopefully not. Here, let's turn off Reshade's depth of field effect. Let's also set it back to generic. These are just some generic color bumps that I usually apply. I picked up this week's, you know, what do you call it? The exchange. Next week, though, you can see I have everything already. So next week's exchange isn't going to be particularly exciting, but hopefully we still got some challenges we can do. Score a goal in Ricochet while taking damage with resistor active. What playlist is Ricochet in? And on top of that, do people play Ricochet? Because unfortunately, Halo 4, as I've tried before to play it for some challenges, Halo 4 is relatively dead, which is annoying. Okay, resistor. Yeah, this thing... Some of these perks, they seem either bugged or useless in Halo 4, the DLC perks at least. Some of your most compelling and interesting videos recently. Really? Really? The last 3 videos? They were that good? Okay, that's good to hear. That's actually really good to hear. That's validating. What did you guys think of the lore video that I did? That lore video was something a little bit different. Because as different as it may seem, and as much as it may not seem like it, I like Halo's lore quite a bit. And if I were to ever do lore videos, they'd have to be like that video, that lore video that I uploaded, which is not exactly like something you'd see on another Halo channel. I was going back to Halo 5 to check out the Gun Goose, and man, I forgot how different the AR looks. Yeah, the Halo, what do they call it? The MA5C? It's got like a plasticky polymer finish, which I guess is more realistic than like the military using steel. That lore video was a pleasant surprise. I loved it, especially since I don't want any other YouTubers, since I don't watch any other YouTubers that cover Halo anymore. Well, that's disappointing, but, you know. That's on Halo to figure that out. Escalation Slayer. What playlist is Ricochet in? If any of you guys know. It's the MA5D that's the one in Halo 4 and 5. Is the lore video supposed to be from the perspective of an in-universe monitor? That's the idea. So the way I'm thinking of it is, hey guys, today we're going to go over the lore of the precursors. The precursors are blah, blah, blah. Like, I like the Forerunner trilogy of books, and I like the lore of Halo. Like, I'm in the camp where I like both Bungie's take on the Halo universe and 343's take on the Halo universe. So I have a lot of passion for either side. And from my perspective, I want you to be excited about the lore of Halo. And if I'm here saying, hey guys, today we're going to do the lore of the... That's not very exciting. I want you to be in there with me, like using your imagination. I want to put as much effort into making Halo's lore seem as cool as possible, because Halo is kind of boring right now. So, you know, it's like kind of like jogging your memory, like reminding you that, no, yeah, Halo's pretty cool, man. Late night question. I've noticed some My Hero Academia figures on your shelf. Are those yours? They are indeed mine. And what you can't see is you can see quite a few Sonic stuff. You can see a Bumblebee figure up there. You can also see a Jotaro hat right there at the top. And then further down, there's some more Pokemon stuff. We got some Kirby merch. We got a lot of stuff. I gotta like figure out. I gotta rearrange the shelf every now and then so that more figures can cycle in. There's a lot of things that I like. I went through your MCC file share, and what the hell is your Halo 2 Anniversary space map supposed to be? Halo 2 Anniversary space map. Let me. That's a good question. Because I can't remember. File share. Map variants. Select. What are these? Oh, these are temporary files, shared files. Nebula, Abyss, Skyward, Nocturne, Toten, Crossfire. Did it save this? Hang on. It might have saved this. If it saved this, this is super freaking cool, because this might be a prior to Halo 5's release, when I tried to make the breakout arena in Halo 4. Custom game. Let me just double check for a hot second, okay? It's an impact, right? Crossfire. Oh my god, this might be it. I thought this was lost to time. Hang on. I remember when I made this. This had to be like 2014 or 2015 when I made this. Halo Battle Royale is apparently releasing around Season 4. No, that's not from what I've heard. Oh, crap. Yeah. That's a big bummer that it didn't spawn me up there, because I don't have the associated game type. But let me see if I can respawn. Suicide. Respawn faster. Okay, it's not respawning correctly because I don't have the map associated, but hopefully you can tell exactly what it was that I was trying to go for. And there's even the man cannons up there for each spawn. Yeah, I made this, God, half a decade ago. And that was prior to the release of Halo 5. I made it in the MCC. That's cool that it's still on my file share. Okay. Happy New Year, says Jackson. And I agree. Happy New Year. Okay. For real, does anybody know what playlist Ricochet is in? Because that's one of the challenges. Oh, it's in here. Okay. Okay, let's try. I doubt we're going to find a match, but we'll try. Which Halo game do you think the Halo announcer was the most lively in? Oh, it has to be Halo 4's, because that's when they were trying to make Jeff Steitzer sound like a hype announcer. Like in the Bungie titles, he was more of this like detached voice of God. But in Halo 4, they leaned hard into the idea of him being more like a sports announcer, you know? So he's goal and Slayer and stuff. Not that Halo 5's also isn't hype, but Halo 5's, they removed some of the filtering. So there's just a smidge less energy. I'm thinking of buying a face cam. Do you have any recommendations? Here's my recommendation. Use an iPhone. That's what I've been using for my face cam. And the key to making face cam videos look good for the iPhone is just have good lighting. Because iPhone doesn't handle darkness very well, so it gets that like fuzzy, floaty, like bugs crawling look, which is in one of my videos, and it looks atrocious.
Capture the flag.
Capture the flag. Okay. No, not that. Crap. Uh-oh. Oh, I guess we're using controller. Okay. After I die, I'll switch to whatever loadout had the trait needed. Would he be then your favorite in Halo 4? No. The Halo 4 version of Jeff Steitzer is not nearly my favorite. It has to be probably Halo Reaches. Halo Reaches or... That's a good question. I really like Jeff Steitzer when he sounds detached and emotionless, kind of like a voice of God. Like, it's just every now and then breaking the sound of gunfire is just this, like, this voice that booms through the audio mix and is very compressed and crystal clear sounding. Alright. This guy is a suppressor. I wonder what he's hoping to accomplish with this. Maybe we can do something interesting with it. Nice. Oh, man. Hell, and then that guy is a storm rifle. Damn it. Okay. Actually, I think we'll be okay without that one perk. Because this isn't even ricochet. Halo Infinite is my favorite Halo announcer. Halo Infinite's is pretty good. The problem with it is you can barely hear him sometimes because he's getting overshadowed by your AI voice, and then in Big Team Battle, that Spartan commander. So he has to like share his role. So he's a lot less chatty, unfortunately, in Halo Infinite. I just got a blue Nintendo Switch Lite. Nice. What games did you get for it? Rebecca and I are currently chewing through Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which, contrary to popular belief, is actually a pretty solid set of Pokemon games. Damn it. Okay. Maybe get the chat to queue with you. That's not a bad idea, actually. I was actually going to suggest if you guys want to hop on, since I just made that video on Spartan Ops. What if we get, like, community Spartan Ops going for a little bit? You know, play the way the developers intended with co-op. I'm trying to pick up some of these unconventional Halo 4 weapons just to see if I can do anything with them. Oh, there he is. All right. I'm surprised I got that kill, to be honest. I got Stardew Valley. That's a good one. You got Skyward Sword, and it's your first Zelda game? That's a pretty good one to start with, to be honest. What do you think of the aesthetic for it? Rebecca also has me, like, slowly starting to get into the Legend of Zelda series. And something I've grown to learn is that Legend of Zelda is a pretty damn experimental franchise. Like, almost every single game has a different art style from the last. I can barely hear you on full audio. Okay, am I too quiet? Here, how do I sound now? Hopefully better, right? Let me know how the voice sounds at this volume. Bro is pre-firing with the storm rifle. Gotta get that thing to be useful somehow. Alright. I'm surprised nobody has started modding the hell out of Halo 4 yet on the Steam Workshop. There's been a couple of mods of people working on, like, porting other armors into Halo 4's campaign, like the Halo 3 armor or the Halo Infinite armor. But the actual quality of the textures and the materials aren't quite there yet, so hashing out a couple of bugs. You excited for the new Doom game? There's a new Doom game coming out? Or do you mean whatever the hypothetical new Doom game is? Because I'd probably have to see more of whatever a hypothetical new Doom game would be before I decide if I was excited or not. Come on, damn it. Okay. Alright, that's fair. Did all the campaigns on Legendary and just started Spartan Ops. Oh boy. Good luck. If you need a buddy, get a buddy, okay? Spartan Ops is not a fun time on solo. Damn it. He's got a saw, doesn't he? Okay. Here, we'll try this. Halo 4 is just not that popular. It's not bad, it's just forgetful. Or forgettable. Yeah, that's a good way to put Halo 4 into a box. It's not like a bad game or an incompetent game or anything. It's just kind of like it's kind of forgettable a little bit. Someone ported Halo 2 Anniversary maps in Halo 4. I did see that. That was pretty cool. Because Halo 4 and Halo 2 Anniversary, they are the first Halo game since ODST and Halo 3 that have, like, sister engines. Halo 2 Anniversary was practically just made in the Halo 4 game engine, similar to ODST and Halo 3. How would a community Spartan Ops work? I probably set my lobby to open, right? Unless MCC doesn't have open. Alright, we got the shoddy. Let's quickly give this thing a hot reload. Alright. Nice. You think there's a guy over there? Yeah, there's a guy over there. Damn it. Okay. MCC does not have open. Only friends and invite only. Of course it doesn't. That would be too much fun. I found Halo 4 is a fun casual game to mess around in with friends, but it's definitely lacking compared to the other titles. Yeah, it's a fun diversion, but it's kind of like it's a lot like Sugar, where it's like at first it's like, holy crap, I'm getting so many kills, this is so exciting, so many medals, but then after a while the sugar high begins to wear off because it's constantly overloading you with rewards. It's like it's scared to challenge you too hard. And the problem with a game like that is after a while the dopamine rush starts to wear off and you actually get bored of the game relatively quick. Whereas the other Halo games, where I think they did a better job at pacing your dopamine hits. When it doesn't help as well that on the MCC version of Halo 4, you've lost so much of Halo 4's, like, UI experience. And by that, I mean, like, the commendation system, its own version of the progression system. So really, all you've got is Halo 4's combat experience. And that's where you can really tell without some of those commendations to chase, challenges to chase and stuff. Happy New Year, Dan Storm. I'm a sucker for marketplaces in video games, like the markets in Metro Last Light in 2033. Oh, like big, bustling, fictional marketplaces full of vendors trying to peddle their wares. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. You can hear the, like, clinking of pots, people yelling, and just kind of the general hubbub. Yeah, marketplaces are fun. I'm trying to think of my favorite video game marketplace. Why hasn't Halo ever done one like that? Like a multicultural, multi-species marketplace where you can see, like, elites yelling at, like, human vendors. Nice. I got an assassination. I completely forgot they're just not in Halo Infinite. Hey, maybe we'll get assassinations this year in Halo Infinite. Did I miss when he read my super chat? No, in fact, it's probably the other way around. I probably missed your super chat, so let me check that out quickly. And I apologize. I'm still confused about this. What did Cortana want with the Endless? I understand Atriox, but not Cortana. Happy New Year, by the way. Cortana didn't want anything with the Endless. The Endless seemed more of like a that's weird. That's buried on this ring. Huh. And then it's Atriox, on the other hand, who was after the Endless, who wanted to free them. Because as far as Atriox is concerned, what I'm willing to bet his logic is that it's like another race to kind of go into business with. Because if the legends were true, then the Endless had reason to kind of hate everybody in the Milky Way galaxy, like have no allegiance to everybody. So Atriox sees a bit of, like, you know, kindred spirit between the brutes and the Endless. And he's not wrong, by the way. Like, the Endless and the brutes, they've been through a lot of shit. When the brutes weren't enslaved by the Covenant, Cortana was trying to coerce them into slavery for her, which resulted in the destruction of their own homeworld when Atriox denied. So it's kind of like discovering that there is a kindred race that also kind of suffered a lot of injustices just because of who they happened to be. It would make sense that Atriox would be like, yeah, I'm gonna check these Endless out. Come on. Damn it. Okay. Thoughts on Promethean weapons returning? Not necessary, but not unwelcome. But also not necessary from a mechanical standpoint, but also not necessary from a production standpoint. Because if the Promethean 343, if they've proven anything, it's that they honest to God struggle with getting simple stuff out the door. And so if it's between a Promethean weapon and something like the plasma rifle or shotgun, I will 100% take the shotgun or plasma rifle over, like, another, you know, Promethean weapon being added to the game. I say another one like there are any. There aren't, but hopefully you get what I mean. It's kind of like if we have to pick or choose which weapons are added to the game, Promethean weapons will probably be on the last of whatever list I make. Let's see. Personally, I have a like and dislike relationship with 343's handling of Halo. I think you speak for a lot of people. On one hand, they do some really cool stuff with the games and expanded lore, but I hate how Halo 4 and 5's plot points get dropped. Yeah, 343, they experiment a lot, not just mechanically, but narratively. And so it leads to a very, very kind of like dysfunctional feeling continuity. And especially now, whatever the next Halo game is going to be, it's not going to feel like anything from 343 in the past, because pretty much everybody has left 343. You've got like a completely new guard at the studio now. Like, I'm trying to think, like, on the narrative team, you got Joe Staten now, who immediately, that's going to be quite different. From the gameplay front, they're going to have to hire on new people in the sandbox, because a majority of the 343 veterans have left. What's the main problem with Promethean weapons? It's not that there's a problem with them. It's more just that they're very boring from a creativity standpoint. And unfortunately, that's not really 343's own fault. Well, sort of. It's back when they were playtesting Halo 4, they had a lot more creative ideas for the Promethean weapons. Like, one was like the stasis rifle beam thing. I think they even had a gravity weapon playtested at some point. And the problem was they were designing the multiplayer to be a Call of Duty clone. So what players were expecting was shotguns, assault rifles, submachine guns, burst rifle. Like, they were expecting Call of Duty guns. So in order to get people to try out the Promethean weapons, they deliberately dumbed them down and made them just orange assault rifles and orange shotguns and stuff like that. And then going into Halo 5, I mean, the Promethean weapons are still here, and you don't want to break continuity mechanically too much, so they're gonna kind of feel samey to their past incarnations, minus a couple of differences. So it's more that the Promethean weapons, they're just bottlenecked creatively because of how they were concepted. Has 343 had Halo longer than Bungie now? They have. Isn't the scatter shot basically an infinite as the heat wave? No. I'd say the heat wave is more original than the scatter shot was. The heat wave definitely feels... the heat wave's got that same problem that the scatter shot has, where it's like, it has to fit into a box, and it fits into the shotgun box. Which doesn't make sense because it's an ancient alien weapon that was made by a completely different race of aliens. So why does it kind of function like a modern day human shotgun? But it takes the idea of like the bouncing particles and actually expands on them in a very creative way. The binary rifle was made for people who aren't good at sniping, in my opinion. You're not wrong. The binary rifle, if I remember right, it was a kill streak reward in Halo 4, so that's probably on the money. It was designed to be like, you call it in, now you've got a sniper rifle that's super easy to use. Have you ever played Blasphemous? I have not played Blasphemous, but I would be interested to hear more. I think the light rifle in Halo 4 was neat. The light rifle was just a battle rifle, though. And its burst fire was so fast that it was very hard to tell if it was a single shot or a burst weapon, to the point that it was kind of like, might as well just call it like a single shot rifle. Meanwhile, I wonder what happened to the Warden Eternal. Hopefully the upcoming Outcast novel by Troy Denning will address that, or even Kelly Gay's Epitaph novel. Yeah, the Warden Eternal, he's a weird one. I'm struggling to even think what he was. As far as I understand, he was according to the lore, the Warden Eternal was Legendary Slayer BR. Fuck. Okay, it's not what we need. Halo the Warden Eternal was an ancient AI that was scrubbed from Forerunner records, so not a lot of people knew that it existed, and he was just in charge of the domain. And that's it. When was he put in charge of the domain and protecting it? Who knows? I'm sure even 343 isn't entirely sure. The Warden Eternal, if I remember right, the stories that I've heard, the production stories that I've heard is that he was a holdover from an enemy type, a warden, which was an enemy type, and they kind of, at some point, buffed him up into being a character. I can double check that, but that's the last time I asked, that was the story I heard. Damn it. What is the domain again? The domain is a precursor. It's basically like the internet. So like the gods, the elder gods that created the Halo universe, they have this, it's like basically digital heaven, where it keeps a record of many aspects of like just the universe's function and like records imprints of them. And it's digital heaven, and the Forerunners, they can access it when they need. They kind of like store and upload like digital footprints of their ancestors into the domain. That way they can kind of commune with ghosts of their past. And the problem with the domain, though, is that the precursors, a lot of their technology, the precursors, what they understood about the universe was that the universe was essentially one big living organism, but not living in the way that you or I understand the concept of life. So precursor technology was kind of alive. And when the Halo rings were fired, all precursor technology was subject to the destruction of the Halo rings. So by firing Halo, the Forerunners wiped basically the last evidence of the precursors from existence. And so the domain, when the Halo rings were fired, it was also shattered. But then 343 later retconned that because Halo 5 exists, and they were like, oh, well, actually, technically it was rebooted, but you didn't read this novel, so nobody cares. If I see one more Goodbye Halo video where people act as if people still aren't playing Halo and enjoying it, I'm going to lose it. Yeah, you won't see me doing a Goodbye Halo video. You'll probably see a video from me relatively soon talking about what my plans are for the year, but nowhere in that will I say Goodbye Halo with an ellipses. Halo has changed forever. Ellipses. Damn it. To be frank with the Heatwave, just because it's ancient doesn't mean its creators couldn't have made it on similar principles, convergent evolution and all that. That's fair. That's true. It's more of like just like a creativity thing where I feel like the more alien you could make the thing, the more interesting it would be. Because it's kind of like the Covenant weapons in Halo Combat Evolved versus some of the human weapons, like how different and alien feeling a lot of the Covenant weapons were. And I kind of think in some of the older Halo titles, really the only Forerunner stuff you ever saw was the Sentinel Beam, and that thing was so weird and alien feeling that it's kind of like come to the Promethean stuff, and you've got something that's very fairly fits into the silhouette of a modern-day rifle. It's like, this... Come on. But it's also, you know, it's done so that gamers can, like, recognize and interpret what the function of the weapon might be from a distance. Like, I have never seen a fandom not want new players to enjoy newer games in my life. Apparently liking some of the retcons makes you a pushover. Oh, for Halo fans? Oh, yeah, Halo fans, they do not like change. Myself included. I guess it also doesn't help, though, that some of the newer games have not exactly been hitting the mark. Have you heard about Ash leaving the Pokemon anime? I have, unfortunately, and I'm very sad. I hope that the new character, because they also announced, like, the next series, I guess you could say, or the next generation of the Pokemon anime, which will have a new protagonist. I hope she's related to Ash, because she has, like, that hairpin. Would you like to see a Halo 4 and 5 armor core in Halo Infinite? Sure, why not? Why not? I'd prefer that over another stupid Elseworlds core, or whatever they're calling it, fractures. Because nothing says time wasted like writing lore for a universe that is unrelated to Halo for Halo. I'd rather put those artists towards expanding the universe of Halo. Like this fractures cores, and so I don't care about fractures. Fractures is irrelevant. The most it's gonna get is an overpriced statue for one of the cores, and then a waypoint blurb, and that'll be it. And then you will never hear from that Fractures universe again. So rather than wasting time on Fractures, I'd rather they put that effort into making canon cores and expanding the Halo canon. Warhammer has a massive problem with retcons. Well, Warhammer feels like a universe that can't help but retcon itself, just due to the size of it and how it is handled and maintained. It's kind of like Star Wars. Warhammer, I don't mind retcons and stuff in Warhammer. I'm also not, emotionally invested in Warhammer, though, so take that with a grain of salt. Like, Warhammer feels more like a template to tell stories in than it does a actual universe, It's kind of like, hey, if you want to tell a really cool sci-fi story, just use Warhammer 40k. Like, the universe is already established, and then tell your story in it. Oh boy. I might quit this match, to be honest, because I keep getting Legendary Slayer BRs, so I think that I have something weird set up. Are you a big Halo 4 fan? Not particularly. There we go. That's why I have Precision Slayer set. Okay, let's matchmake. Okay. I don't mind Fractures, but they need to be, like, actually fleshed out. Give me a spin-off game focused on Samurai Spartans. See, I don't even care about a spin-off game, because it's like I play the Halo games because I like the Halo universe. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so excited about this Halo game not set in the Halo universe and about ancient samurai. Like, that's not Halo. It's daydreaming about another IP while working on an established IP. And it's like, in my mind, that samurai core, nothing is stopping them from just making that core canon. And there are easy ways to make it canon that would make sense within the Halo universe. But, just you wait, Taras. The next Halo will be solely Elseworlds concepts in the vein of Into the Spider-Verse type experience. Calling it now. Oh, God. Like a Fortnite type thing. Yeah, I'm predicting all IPs will eventually converge to a multiverse thing where the important aspect of our IP is that it has no identity. It's everything. Because how else are we going to get the Terminator in it? I guess that's fair, though in my opinion, bouncing hard light projectiles and a dedicated projectile spread adjustment function are still sufficiently alien. They are definitely sufficiently alien, but I think the design of the weapon could be aliener, if that makes sense. Like, could you imagine if it was like that Isaac Hannaford Promethean concept art where instead of picking up a shotgun, you pick up a little handle and it like forms around your arm into a weird thing that functions kind of like a shotgun. Thoughts on the SPI armor? I think it's a waste of resources to make it a core. Just make it a set of armor pieces. Into the Spartan verse, telling a Spartan story. Oh no, don't say that. When's Jotaro getting added to Halo 6? Which Halo game is the best sound design for you? Mine's Reach. I'd probably say Reach as well. Reach is just, it's clear, it's audible. It's not like Halo 3, where definitely the stock assets they're using were not mixed to the best of their abilities. But it's got enough punch to where it feels believable. It's got enough visual distinction so everything sounds unique. And it's got enough legacy to where it still sounds like the Halo universe, you know? Yeah, Halo Reach, that's a good answer. That's a fair opinion, but I think my own tastes on different takes on the same IP has me feeling differently on Fractures. I've really enjoyed how Transformers and MTG. What does that stand for? I don't know what that stands for, but I know Transformers. That's a good point about Transformers, but I guess Transformers is a toy line, so selling the new toys and the new designs requires a new universe. Where with Halo, Halo isn't a toy line. It's oh boy, what was it? Crap. What was the challenges? It was resistor active. Fuck, I don't think I have resistor. Crap, okay. We gotta do that challenge. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, the Halo universe, it's not a toy line or anything. It's one consistent universe. And rather than moving forward, the Halo universe, it's kind of sitting still because they're wasting time expanding the Entrenched universe, which isn't going to go anywhere. You're never going to see Entrenched again because it doesn't matter. You know? Like, they don't have the resources to expand Entrenched further. The most you're going to get is kind of like a little, I don't know what you'd call it, a choose-your-own-adventure thing. And then a plead to please buy microtransactions. And it's like, I feel like if they want to do the Fortnite thing to where they can have like armors that are like non-canon, you could say, to Halo, this feels like the weirdest way to do it, because people playing Fortnite in Warzone, they're not going to suddenly stop playing Fortnite in Warzone because they're like, did you guys hear 343? The new Halo game, they're making a samurai coding. I'm going to try it out because it's not canon. Like, no, nobody's going to stop playing Warzone because 343 told people that the samurai coding's not canon, or samurai core. So to me, it's just a big waste of time. It's expanding a universe that is pointless. You know, it's like I said, it's daydreaming about a different IP instead of working on your IP. Huh, I figured you would have been using the classic sound effects mod from Halo 4. The classic sound effects mod, I don't think it's working anymore, unfortunately. Believe me, I would have been using it. Oh boy. Damn it. Okay. I left Fortnite because there's too many crossover skins. Yeah, well, Fortnite's fine. Fortnite has kind of established itself as the franchise that has no franchise. Like, it's just, Fortnite is the game with other things in it. Because Fortnite itself has no identity outside of an art style. Fortnite is like Funko Pops in video game form, where Funko Pops, it's just an aesthetic. You know, what does Master Chief look like as a Funko Pop? What does Master Chief look like in Fortnite? Like, that's basically what Fortnite is. And a lot of companies now are trying to chase that Fortnite money train, we don't have a franchise. Our franchise just has other franchises in it. And they're struggling, because Call of Duty, it looks like modern military photorealism. So when you see a guy running around in an Attack on Titan skin, it looks embarrassing, because it looks like a sad old man in cosplay, because it just looks like a real military operator, you know? And with Halo, I don't even know what Halo's trying to do, because they're not even trying to reach out to other franchises, so they're just daydreaming about other properties. They're making, like, bootleg Crisis ripoffs that aren't even canon to Halo to begin with. In my opinion, the Fracture Core lore, no matter how inconsequential, is a necessity. Imagine justifying the canonicity of straight-up samurai armor to its fandom as advertised. I think it's fine. I can come up with a lore justification right now on the spot for you. In the aftermath of the destruction of Cortana's infrastructure, the UNSC is in shambles, galaxy-wide blackouts. As Mizraya Armory struggles to kind of get its gears turning again, and the UNSC rebuilds itself, black market vendors from deep space have begun production of their own Spartan armors, now without the watchful eye of a unified government. Boom, there you go. Now you can justify a variety of different aesthetics from Halo. These come from deep space without kind of like a massive galactic law, you know, enforcing nobody makes Spartan armors but a certain manufacturer. Well, now you have all of these people that are scrambling to make their own Spartan armor before the UNSC gets up on its feet too quickly. You know, nothing's stopping that samurai armor from making sense in the Halo universe if you establish it as a deep space Japanese run, like, weapons manufacturer. Hell, then you could even start selling cosmetics for the weapons as well that are manufactured under the same company that made the samurai armor, as opposed to daydreaming about some fictional, like, samurai game that doesn't exist and will not exist. It's sad that 343 has put more effort into the Fractures lore than they do their actual seasonal narrative. Yeah, exactly that. That's another problem also, is a lot of effort is going into the Fractures stuff. And that same effort is not translating into other stuff. This could have been a boom for Halo lore. Could you imagine huge choose-your-own-adventure lore drops on Waypoint that are actually canon and kind of explore the universe after the collapse of Cortana's empire? Instead, we get some writers at 343 daydreaming about a World War II IP that doesn't exist. It's like, wow, that was a cool little short story, and then it's going to leave your brain immediately, because it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, just Fractures. I think it's a big fat waste of time that is serving nobody, and definitely not serving the Halo universe. It's just, and in part, I do understand some of the anxiety, which is Halo fans lost their collective minds about Halo 5 and Halo 4 deviating too much from the established look of the Halo universe. And so the anxiety is you don't want to make a new armor that doesn't look like Mjolnir armor, you know? You want it to all look like it takes place in the Halo universe. But also a big part of it is they're trying to appeal to non-Halo fans by making stuff that doesn't look like it's from a Halo game. And my logic is non-Halo fans are not going to care that you said this samurai armor is non-canon. That's not interesting, you know. They're still not going to play your Halo game. But then, as for the, like, breaking Halo aesthetics, the big problem was that 343, it's not that it's new aesthetics, it's that it's retconning the look of Halo's universe. Like, it's that the weapons that we are familiar with do not look like they should. You know, why does the Spartan armor look weird and bad? It's supposed to be made by the UNSC. Why doesn't it look like UNSC stuff? Well, now it does. So what's stopping them from making non-UNSC Spartan armor, you know? They could easily do that now. Like, they've established, hey guys, sorry, that was a mistake. The Halo universe looks like the Halo universe. But what about companies from outside the UNSC? What would they do if they had the opportunity due to a massive governmental collapse? How would they make a Spartan armor that's black market? I don't know. It just feels like all the fracture cores are canon. If the fracture cores are canon, people would be complaining about the opposite problem. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's definitely true. I just think Halo stands to gain more by canonizing it and explaining it as being explicitly weird for the Halo universe. You know, leave your green stormtrooper looking armors to the UNSC and clearly establish that the samurai stuff, the crisis suit looking thing, it's not done by the UNSC. It is illegal within the world of Halo. And it's being done by other rival suit manufacturers and stuff. They're already doing that with the weapons. Like the commando rifle. The reason that doesn't look like a Halo gun is because it's not done by Mizraya Armory. It was made by, like, Outer Colonies and stuff. It's like, just extend that to the rest of the armor, and you're golden, you know? How would Toyota or Raytheon design Halo armor? Exactly. You get exactly what I'm saying. You can expand the Halo universe while having different aesthetics. And because 343 established a good base point. You know, this isn't like a Halo 4 or 5 situation where it's like the weird armors look weird and not like they're from Halo, but also the base armors look weird and not like they're from Halo. So just the whole game doesn't look like it's Halo. They don't have that problem, you know? Halo Infinite, the base look of it is solid enough. Come here, you. Oh boy. And what I'm thinking is, if you want to do the non-canon armors, why don't you reserve that for, like, creative stuff? Not like a photo-realistic looking samurai armor that could easily be canonized. Have a Mega Bloks armor set. There you go. That would be non-canon. You know? Oh crap, let's get out of here. Have a low-poly combat evolved Master Chief armor core. That is more deserving of a non-canon thing. Like, stuff that's weird and wouldn't make sense even if it was canon, you know? Oh, what if instead they made playable elites and playable brutes? Oh, man. Playable elites are so far out. Like, I don't know if we'll ever see playable elites, at least not for a few years now, because Halo Infinite's player rig is so messed up, and, like, the slipspace engine is just so unnecessarily convoluted that they would have to make a dedicated rig for the elites, and beyond then they'd run into all the problems that the actual Spartan rigs are facing. Like, that would not be for a while. Customization. Yeah, here we go. We want to, what is it called? What is it that we want to add to it? It's resistor. Why is it resistor saved? Oh, it is saved. Never mind. Survivor. Let's not do survivor. Let's do dexterity. All right. Good. It's saved. A cell shaded armor set. Yeah, you wanna do stuff like that. And even so, maybe somebody who understands a little bit more about intellectual property could explain this to me. As for crossover stuff, I don't know if they could work with this solution, but to me, Halo is set in the future, right? So would it make sense if, like, well, the Terminator must exist in the Halo universe as a film, right? So that's how you could justify having Terminator in Halo Infinite, is that, well, even within the Halo universe, the Terminator film exists. Like, I feel like the fact that it's set in the future gives them a lot of room to kind of do crossover stuff. They don't need this, like, fractures, whatever, that they're not even taking advantage of to begin with. Halo 4 is Battlefield. Not really, because Halo 4 doesn't have, like, massive player counts or destructible environments, or even classes. Not in like the Call of Duty sense, but in the engineer, sniper, and stuff. So I'm not sure if I'd agree there, but damn it. No, there are no films in Halo unless those companies want to pay to have them added. Well, yeah. No, I'm not saying 343 goes out of their way to just have a Terminator thing. And I'm using Terminator because Gears of War keeps doing that. I'm meaning more for, like, crossover stuff, Is 343 made Fractures so they could justify crossover events? Because they could have Fractures universe or whatever. Couldn't they just say that these things are canon within the Halo universe as fictional pieces of entertainment? Like, surely if you were to go to a UNSC library, James Cameron would have been a filmmaker that lived 500 years ago, and he's responsible for these films, or whatever. I personally liked the look and aesthetic of Halo 4. I don't think anyone can say that it's objectively bad looking when looking at it individually. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody would say it's a bad science fiction franchise, or not science fiction franchise, but science fiction aesthetic. Halo 4's got a pretty damn solid sci-fi aesthetic. I'd say it's more solid than Halo 5's aesthetic. I wish Halo 4 had black undersuits and not the scale-looking textures on their undersuits. Oh, that like Sam Raimi Spider-Man webbed look. Yeah, I know what you mean. Marathon references in the Halo trilogy are a better example. Hayabusa, ironically, isn't an example. It would have been removed from the MCC otherwise. What's going on? What are we talking about? Hayabusa's legality, or as like a cross-promotional thing? Hayabusa was a cross-promotion thing, wasn't it? It was Ninja Gaiden, I think. Which is then insane that Bungie made a Hayabusa armor that looks fitting for the Halo universe. Okay, here. I think we're done playing Halo 4 then. Let me see what these other challenges were. I saw it looked like playing Halo 3 and Halo 2, right? Challenge Hub. Gotcha. Halo 2 Classic or Halo 3. Let's do a bit of Halo 2 Classic. I'm feeling crazy today. I want to get BXR'd. On the black undersuits note, they should let us change the undersuit color for Halo 4. They did it for Halo 3. Well, if I remember right, the reason that they did the colored undersuits in Halo 4, it was, as creepy and weird as this sounds, it was almost like a precursor to Halo Infinite's like cartoon glowing outlines on everything, where they wanted to make it easier to spot players. So instead of having a black undersuit with colored pieces, they wanted the whole thing to be as solid as a color as humanly possible. And even interestingly, I learned that they play tested Halo 4 with cartoon outlines on everything. Oh boy. Dude, the plasma pistol is so busted in Halo 2. Damn it. Okay. What's one fear you have if an armor core you want gets changed to meet fan opinions? For me, it would be if Gen 2 gets a permanent space diaper. Well, Gen 2 can work with a space diaper. Fans have made it work, and it looks really badass. But yeah, if they ever do bring back like other cores, I think it's up to 343 to make sure that the aesthetic matches. Like that you don't mess with it. Even stuff like Gen 2. You want to make sure it looks like an HD version of something from Halo 4 and 5. Because it may not be for me, but there are fans that would love a core like that. You don't want to, and you want to make sure they're eating good when it comes to their cosmetics. Just matched you in Halo 4. GG. GG. Was that embarrassing past Halo 4 match where I did atrociously? That was a GG. You guys played really good. Search head to head. Halo 2. Halo 5 is a Halo nerd for Halo. I can't express my disappointment enough towards the direction the story took, especially after that promising marketing campaign. Yes, a friend of mine that I've been playing with, he explained it best, where he felt like it wasn't even that like Halo 5 retconned things or anything. It's just that Halo 5 almost felt like the Halo story was speed run. It was like a train wreck in slow motion, where you realized where the story was going early and you were like, no, this is a bad idea, this is really dumb, please stop, and you had to watch it be like, no, this is where we're going, and then when the credits roll you just feel like abused. When you crash landed on Alpha Halo, you thought the Reclaimers were meant to be humanity, but no, it was always the plan that AI were the real Reclaimers. And you're like, no, stop. No more. Halo 2 on mouse and keyboard is almost impossible. It's not impossible if you're playing Team Snipers. It is so much fun when you're playing snipers on mouse and keyboard. Damn it. Okay. Do a Jeff Steitzer impression. Slayer. Capture the flag. No, that's not good. Hang on. Slayer. Headhunters. 5 minutes remaining. No, that's not good. Okay, I give up, okay? I can't do Jeff Steitzer. That man's voice is too unique. How do you think a Halo 6 book would work, since Infinite is clearly Halo 7? A Halo 6 book would probably... It would probably be fleshing out the events that led up to the siege of Zeta Halo. Like the big battle that took place. I'd imagine a Halo 6 book would be detailing what the Infinity did while they were on the run, how they were able to survive, what planets they stopped at, how did they get supplies, what factions out there supported them. And then it would probably be building up to the events of Zeta Halo. Damn it. Impressions are hard. Impressions are very hard. It's easier to capture somebody's inflection than it is their vocal cords. I used to do crazy good impressions, but the problem was growing up, social anxiety starts to set in. And so you don't want to do impressions that much because you feel self-conscious and anxious. And then over time, it's just like the skill wanes and then fades. Try going this way. I see a man. More than just a man, a Spartan. Oh boy. Damn it. That's fair. Jeff labors his syllables as an announcer. Try it. Jeff label what does he do? He labors his syllables. Like that? Like stresses them? Hey, LNG, I was watching your videos out of order again, but I always loved your super specific attention to detail. At least I'm not alone. Oh, yeah. I am nothing if not very, very, very specific and nitpicky when it comes to small details. I have so many opinions about things people don't care about. You should dub the entirety of Halo 2 with your Plankton impression.
It was one ship, are you sure? Yes, they called it the Pillar of Autumn.
We know the crew size of the Infinity dropped from around 18 to 20,000 when Halo 5 dropped, or when Halo 5 happened to, it dropped from around 18 to 19,000 when Halo 5 happened to about 7,000 when Infinite started. Yeah, they lost a lot of crew in between Halo Infinite and Halo 5. And I'd like to imagine in the case of somebody like Lasky would totally be the kind of captain that would be like, listen, the universe has been taken over by our computers and our iPhones. You don't have to come with us because we are gonna be hunted. If anybody wants to get off now, because you have families, I understand. Lasky would definitely give people the opportunity to kind of like abandon their posts.
What would you have your Plankton do?
Somebody wants me to do that. What's your most pointless Halo opinion? That's a very good question. I have far too many. My pointless Halo opinion. See, my thoughts keep getting interrupted by other pointless Halo opinions. It's like, you want to hear my opinion about the Halo Infinite Battle Rifle reload? No, you don't want to hear that, because what you really want to hear is my opinion on the DMR sound. But no, you don't actually want to hear that, because what you want to hear is my opinions on the walk cycles of the different Halo games, and why Halo 2's is probably the best. Late night, help, a giant flaming whale ate a helicopter. Help, I'm scared. Oh, you're playing Metal Gear Solid 5, aren't you? Oof. Dude, anxiety is a huge thing that gets in the way of just full-on going for it with voice acting. Yeah, yeah. Getting over that social anxiety. ODST crouch walk going off, though. ODST's crouch walking is pretty awesome. What I like about the crouch walk in ODST is the camera bob they gave it. Camera bob is a pretty awesome tool when it's done right. Halo Infinite does not do it right, and I can't tell if it's because the camera bobs at a lower frame rate than the rest of the game, but Halo Infinite's camera bob feels off. ODST's, on the other hand, feels so good and adds to the movement. It makes it feel more natural and organic. Nokia phone armor core. Exactly. Just run around as a giant Nokia phone. I really wish they would bring back the Flood somehow or make Halo slightly darker and scarier. Yeah, you'll never see that. You'll never see that. As long as 343's current demographic is kids, you will never see Halo get beyond the teen rating. And the Flood, if they are to come back, they'll be in a very compromised state. Ooh, man. Okay. Crap. Okay. That's fair. Spartan Ops is in the MCC. It is. It's... Last I checked, they had it under... Last I checked, they had it saved under Firefight, but I'm not sure if they've moved it. Oh boy. Damn it. PG-13 moment, exactly. I would say Halo sometimes even, at least the 343 Halo titles thus far, they really feel like PG-13. Like, you never see anybody bleed unless it's an alien, in which case it's the tamest, darkest blue blood possible that will not stay on the ground. I'm honestly surprised that they got that Spartan Griffin guy with, like, a broken nose and the swollen eye. Damn it. It's still under Firefight. Okay. All right, it's still under Firefight. Got it. That's good. If you could, what balance change would you make to each of the classic trilogy games? What balance change should I make? That's an interesting question. What balance change should I make? For Halo 2, I would get rid of hit scan, and I'd make it all projectile shots. For Halo 3, I would probably just get rid of the Magnum, to be honest. And probably the plasma rifle as well, and instead I'd beef up the Spiker. Let's go, Brandon says. Doesn't work that way, bud. Oh boy. That really saddens me to hear. Reading some of the Halo books, I can't tell you how much scarier the Covenant seems, especially the Brutes. Yeah, Halo, the current direction Halo's aiming for, I'm very confused. It seems like 343, they don't have a clear vision for what they want Halo to be. Like, with Halo 5, they figured out, they're like, we can totally market to younger players if we stick with the T for teen rating. But then all the multimedia stuff is still relatively violent, and feels like a little bit more mature, sort of. And then the Halo show has sex and drugs and stuff in it, but then you play, like, Halo Infinite, and it's, like, happy fun time with a Crash Bandicoot tiki head, but then you go over to a Halo book, and they're talking about brutes on Zeta Halo eating human prisoners, and it's like, who's Halo 4? Who's the target demographic? Taras, what are your top 5 or top 10 favorite games, not including Halo? Oh, that's a good question. We could say, okay, so Sonic Adventure. Depending on the day, I'll swap out Sonic Adventure with 1 or 2. Pokemon Yellow or Pokemon Blue, depending on the day, I'll swap those out. Super Mario Sunshine. Trying to think of some others. Fallout New Vegas. StarCraft, the original. Try to think of what else. Smash Bros. Melee, probably. Age of Empires 2. Age of Kings. BioShock 1? That's a good question that you asked. I'm still trying to, in my brain, I'm still trying to fill out the answer sheet. I'm trying to think, what am I missing? I'm missing something. Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland for the Game Boy Advance. We'll throw that in there as well. Mario 64? Say Resident Evil 4. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 I'd throw in there as well. Resident Evil 4 is pretty damn good. I thought Halo 5 was going to be a new Cortana story, but she didn't come until Infinite. I thought Infinite would bring back Flood, but that didn't happen. I don't know what to expect going forward. Well, going forward, now I super don't know what to expect. I know everybody's talking about Halo the Endless, but I can promise you guys that Halo the Endless, we're not going to see that for a while. Halo Infinite Story DLC, last I heard, that will not be happening. And if it does happen, because plans can change, we're not going to see it for a very long time, because there is currently nothing in production. The next Halo game, currently not in production, not even pre-production. And whatever the original plan was as a new Halo title, that is still just being talked about because they don't exactly have the staff to ramp up production on a new Halo title. One of my buddies even theorizes, actually, that he thinks the studio might become more of a publisher for the Halo series because they just don't have the production staff to make a new title, so they might just, you know, kind of like Halo Wars 2 style. Like, oversee the production of a new Halo game, but have a different game development studio make it. Damn it. Tonally, young adults and up. Financially, teens and kids. That's probably what they're aiming for. But they're going about it in the worst way possible. Because, like, a key tenet of the Halo games is that they are built on something that's pretty violent and disgusting in the Flood. Like, the original trilogy is so interwoven with the lore of Halo that, and just the importance of Halo, that there's not, like, a lot you could do to be like, actually, the Flood was happy and not that scary. And then how are they going to market, you know, the Halo TV series from Paramount Plus? Be like, after you're done playing our rated T for teen Halo game with Happy Tiki Crash Bandicoots, go watch Master Chief have sex with a prisoner in the Halo show. And watch some kids get their heads blown off after doing space drugs. Just the Halo universe is all over the place right now, the IP. Damn it. How would you feel if Bungie came back to Halo? I'm not sure, to be honest. Because modern Bungie is a very different studio from how they used to be. I mean, sure, you have a lot of, like, legacy people at Bungie who worked on the original titles, but a lot of their talent is, like, different, and they have different game design sensibilities. And I feel like they've been working on Destiny for so long that they probably approach Halo in the same vein that they approach something like Destiny now. Which might be good, at least when it comes to the live service aspect and world building aspect, but I'm not sure what they would do from a gameplay standpoint, because they definitely would not make a classic style Halo game. There we go. Come on, show yourself. Fuck. Okay. Halo TV show, full sarcasm mode. Oh, there is a Halo TV show. Yeah, believe it or not, there's a Halo TV show. And I'm sure everybody responsible for its production would like... You know what's hilarious about the Halo show? It wasn't even nominated for Best Video Game Adaptation at the Game Awards. Like, not only did it not win any awards, it wasn't even there. You know, and there weren't a lot of video game adaptations, but the Game Awards went out of their way to find ones that were not the Halo show. Which, that, it's just like, God, there's a timeline out there where the Halo show was actually good. Crap. Thank God the Halo show is not canon with the games. It probably could have been a lot better if it was canon. You want to know what is one of the best sounds for a weapon in Halo, in my opinion? That is a good sounding gun. I don't care how cheap and outdated the stock sound asset that they used is. That like clicky clacky typewriter sound, that is the sound of a Halo SMG to me. Not Halo 3's version, not Halo 5's version, or Halo 2 Anniversary's version. Like, if we ever saw the Halo SMG come back, that's the sound I'd want to hear coming out of its barrel. Just with some, like, reverb and stuff. Someone wanted a Mass Effect show. Oh, the Halo show? Yeah, definitely, like, by not early 2000s, mid to late 2000s BioWare. That feels kind of like what they wanted the Halo show to be. And it did not work. As a Halo fan, I'm too biased, but I wonder what people who had never seen Halo thought of the Halo series. Well, thankfully, I have an answer. My fiance, she's super into TikTok, and she was on top of it when the Halo series came out, figuring out what the reactions were from people who have never seen Halo before. And I can tell you, nobody knew what was going on. They didn't know what the Halo ring was. They didn't know what the Covenant were supposed to be, what Chief was, or what he wanted. Like, nobody... It wasn't just a bad adaptation of Halo, it didn't even do a good job of explaining the Halo universe. One person thought that the Halo rings were like the new world. She was like, and then the soldier guy, he wanted to be with the lady so they could live on the new world together. Like, nobody knew what the story of Halo was because of how bad the Halo show did of introducing the universe. And that's what I was thinking as well. I was thinking, what are the Covenant? I know what the Covenant are, but if I were to watch the Halo show and pretend I've never seen Halo before, who are these guys? What do they want? What do they believe in? What's a Halo ring? And not, what's a Halo ring? What's the mystery? The Halo show didn't do a good job of even setting up the mystery because I didn't know why I was supposed to care, you know? I think I applied to help for the Halo TV show. I remember the role was like part of the transmedia coordinator or something like that. Really? That's interesting. How did that go? I had a friend who had some insight onto the production of the Halo show, and it sounded kind of like a disaster nightmare. The Henry Cavill situation showed us the film industry is endemic with people who utterly despise games and seek to change them, either because they want to make the show their own or purely out of spite. Oh, for The Witcher? Yeah. I haven't even seen the Netflix Witcher series because I'm not that interested into the Witcher series to begin with. But I was following that. So is it a theory that Henry Cavill left because of them not doing the Witcher series justice? Either way, I hope that Witcher series flops. Red Sea says, why can't 343 just follow Bungie's original vision? They just threw it in the trash to appeal to COD players. Well, depends on what you mean. Do you mean narratively, mechanically, or tonally and direction-wise? Because Bungie never really had a vision. They were just kind of winging it. And even Bungie attempted to follow trends. Halo 2 and Halo 3, they tried to implement a leaning mechanic because they were following the trends at that time of like tactical shooters, like your Tom Clancy type stuff. It's just a theory. We don't really know for sure. That's fair. I heard the writers of The Witcher Netflix admitted they hated the source material. I'll have to read the exact quote because I'm sure that it's what usually happens with a lot of online stuff. It's taken out of context. It took 9 years for the first season of Halo Paramount Plus to release because they announced it back in 2013. Yeah, Halo, the series, was like one of the most infamous examples of development hell. It was originally supposed to tie into the Xbox's media push, but then when that collapsed, they were thinking that it was going to like tie into spin-off stuff, but then, because if you remember the Halo show, it was going to really tie into the big push that they were doing with Halo 5 as being this new era for the Halo series. But then that didn't go anywhere. Just Halo's media team, they gotta get a little bit more organized. Oh boy. Damn it. I also recall something about Cavill wanting to do more Superman stuff as well, which is why him leaving the Superman role was even more hilarious. Oh yeah, well, aren't they rebooting Superman? If I remember right, they're rebooting Superman, which I guess would probably make sense. Because, like, Henry Cavill's Superman, for better or worse, when I think of it, I associate it with a guy who stole some clothes off of a clothesline. Like, coming out of the water, making sure no one's spotting, and stealing someone else's clothes. Then, trashing a city. And then screaming and crying and threatening to murder somebody who could not kill him. And Superman knew that, which is why he stood in front of the Batmobile. You know, it's not going to hurt him. But he threatened to kill him if he didn't stop doing the exact things Superman was doing. So Henry Cavill's Superman I associate with a very selfish, angry guy who the government is rightfully scared of. So maybe rebooting with a new actor would be good. They're rebooting all of DC. Yeah, that's what I saw. Get out of that Zack Snyder. stink and maybe try again. Which I don't know, man. I feel like I don't want a DC film universe, you know? I just want, like, independent, really good DC movies. Kind of like The Joker, kind of like what they did with Batman recently. Like, I don't want, like, an interconnected Marvel alternative, man. Either way, massive Warhammer 40k fan. Cavill, as both the lead actor and producer on a 40k production, should hopefully teach a lesson. Let the fans make it. That, if he is actually producing it, because he's a big fan, right? So it might actually turn out good. Yeah, let the fans do it. Contrary to popular belief, the fans can make something that would appeal to non-fans. Remember when they tried opening an Xbox film studio? Ironically, Sony would end up doing the same thing a decade later. Yeah, that's... It's weird that, like, all these game companies, they, like, officially announce... They like, you know, trip and stumble over themselves because they're so excited to announce the opening of their film studio, and then they never do anything with it. They'll maybe produce a movie, and that movie will be bad and mediocre. I'm thinking of, like, Ubisoft. Remember when Ubisoft tried to announce an Assassin's Creed series and they opened up a film producing studio where it's just like, get out of here, Ubisoft. Go back to copy and pasting open world games. With everything being connected, I actually like when there's something standalone for once. Yeah, like, it's fun when stories are stories, and that they're not all commercials for each other, you know? Like, Rebecca was even saying that she doesn't like Marvel because she thinks that it's, like, tonally all over the place. Like, she said the worst part about the new Spider-Man movie was Doctor Strange, because he made no sense in the tone of a Spider-Man movie. She's like, he's a kid, like, in New York. Why the frick is there, like, magic and portals opening up? And so she's more interested in seeing the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies because there is no interconnected... It's just a story about Spider-Man. And I never thought about it that way, like the tonal disconnect of having all these, like, different connected elements. Sure, it's an interconnected universe, but you kind of lose, I guess, coherency and individuality in that. Oh, looks like we, here. Let's switch over to Halo 2 Anniversary. Let's see if there's some Escalation Slayer stuff going on. Is Uncharted the only game Sony movie thing? No, I don't think so. I think Sony recently threatened to make a sequel to Uncharted, and I think they're also going to be doing a couple of other movies as well, which is unfortunate for us. Favorite Spider-Man? I'm a Garfield man. Garfield's Spider-Man is really good. It's a pity about his about the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I got a soft spot for Tobey Maguire, but yeah, I guess Garfield probably. The AC movie was trash, and I bet the Division movie will suck too. Wow, I forgot. Are they still making the Division movie? I thought that they would have given up by now. I think the Death Stranding film will be good. Kojima is supervising it. Kojima seems like he really, really, really just wants to make a movie. So I'm willing to bet that the Death Stranding movie is going to be good. I think Sony is also doing some Destiny stuff, since that was one of the reasons for the deal with Bungie. That worries me a little bit, because the weakest part of the Destiny franchise is its characters. Destiny is a lot more fun when they focus on the cosmic stuff. Some of the worst seasons, in my opinion, of Destiny were when it was focused on the individual struggles of characters. So I would be worried. I feel Destiny would work better if it was an anime rather than like a movie. Thoughts on PT? Oh, dude, PT was so good. It's a crime. I hope somebody out there just leaks PT, like the actual source code to PT gets leaked online. That way people can preserve it for all time, and even eventually work it into like native support for PC and stuff like that. Because PT is a jewel, it's a treasure that needs to be preserved. Hello there, says Shipmaster. Did you seriously just flip the image of the last thumbnail for this thumbnail? No, it's the other way around. The last thumbnail is the flipped version of this thumbnail. Well, Sony does have a fantastic animation studio. I haven't seen any of their animations outside of Spider-Verse, and if Spider-Verse is anything to go off of, then I guess, yeah, they do have a pretty damn fantastic animation studio. Never understood the hype for PT. Wasn't anything special in my opinion, and didn't resemble Silent Hill at all. Well, did you play PT? Because PT I think was incredible. I think something about PT that unfortunately you can't really get anymore is the context of when it released. PT just came out. Like it just came out suddenly on the PlayStation Store and nobody knew what it was. Oh boy. And so kind of like the shock of like, what the hell is this? It's made by an indie studio. And then the reveal of it being a trailer for the new Silent Hill games. PT is not Silent Hill, it's the teaser for the next Silent Hill. And I think as a playable teaser, it did an exceptionally strong job. And also something that I think is very important is that it did not overstay its welcome as a horror experience. It got in and then it got out as fast as it could before, you know, the horror wore off. Damn it. Okay. Seen Pancreas No Work's latest video on the Flood versus 40K. I've not seen it yet. I've actually been really busy. I haven't had a lot of time to watch YouTube. How is it? Is it good? Oh god. What do you think 343 will do next with Halo? What do you want to see? And do you think the series is beyond saving at this point? No. Halo is a brand I don't think is in the strongest position, but it's definitely not dead, and I think Halo will always be fine. What I think will come next is, to be honest, because Pierre Heinz is now studio manager, and that guy is more of a producer than he is a game developer. He's probably going to look at what the market wants. And so what we're probably going to see next is something that Halo fans probably won't like. It's probably going to be something super online focused and multiplayer focused, but I'm willing to bet that he'd be able to read the market a bit better than previous management, and he'd probably be able to produce something relatively successful. But whatever the next project is, like Tatanka, that was not under him. So I don't think Tatanka will be a true Pierre Heinz Halo spinoff. As a Silent Hill fan, PT was the most Silent Hill thing we had gotten in years. Yeah, that's how I feel. PT was super, super Silent Hill. And something that I also kind of liked about PT was that it got away from the titular Silent Hill. And the idea that, like, the evil of Silent Hill, or not evil, but the presence that makes Silent Hill what it is bleeds out from beyond the town and begins to infest other parts of the world. And even the way that it tapped into like parallel universes, but in a horror context, and not like, you know, Silent Hills into the multiverse, but like in just like a like that crack through the door. It's a separate reality. When you look in the mirror, it's you, but it's not really you. It's like, that's scary to think about. You ain't that lucky with the railgun. No, I'm not that lucky with the railgun. That was quite a few embarrassing missed shots. As a Halo fan, it's glorious. As a 40K fan, it's heresy. Oh, did the Flood win? Let's go up here. Hopefully I can kill this guy. Crap. Oh, I got a kill from the grave. Nice. Have you heard about the new Transformers game? Oh, Transformers Reactivate? I have. Very, very cautious about it, because it's apparently like a live servicey Warframe type game, right? And I'm just like, I've seen how this goes, you know, with these like PvE focused live service games built on like existing properties. We've seen it with the Avengers and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like Transformers would be more successful if they focused on single-player stuff. Like Transformers Devastation, or hell, try, you know, the Transformers movie video game, where it was essentially like Grand Theft Auto in the sense that there is the police star system, and it's open world, and you're just driving anywhere, and the cops are chasing you because you're a giant robot. What are your thoughts on games constantly getting remastered? Hey, man. If the remasters are good, or the remakes are good, and they introduce audiences to new games, then I'm all for it. And hopefully they introduce old design philosophies to a new generation of gamers. And open people up to other types of video games. You know, and not all the remasters are going to be good, you know, because for every like Resident Evil 2 type of thing, you unfortunately do get your Resident Evil 3s, but... Or I guess that's not really a remaster, is it? That's just a straight up remake. It ultimately depends on the context. Pancreas presents 3 scenarios. Flood is quickly neutralized, Flood becomes an established faction, and Flood just straight up sweeps. I'd imagine in the Warhammer 40k universe, the Flood would probably be more of an established faction. I couldn't see them sweeping, to be honest. Yes. Okay. That Transformers DS game was my childhood. That Transformers DS game was good, especially the Decepticons version. But I'm also thinking about the console version, which was pretty good too. Most of the stuff I've seen is just leaks. Seems that the bots and cons have to work together to fight a common enemy, which is where the PvE comes in. Yeah, wasn't it like, it was at one point during development an alien zombie Transformers virus that which is more zombie Transformers, which is very weird that it's happening again, but then they eventually like made it into its own alien race, and now it seems to be like some kind of weird corrupting shard. Do you think having different HUDs in Halo Infinite is a good idea? Like Halo Reach HUD or Halo 3 HUD? Yes. Yes. More HUD options, the better. Pong Remastered. Pong Remastered. Pong with realistic physics and a story. With the amount we are getting, I feel like there's a lot of lack of original IPs, at least in the AAA game industry, so they keep on churning out the good old stuff. Yeah, I guess the way I'm feeling is like if we're gonna be releasing new games, at least remaster, like good games, as opposed to making bad original games, you know? A worrying trend, though, that I see quite a bit is old creatives leaving and then trying to make their own games based off of their passion projects, working on an original franchise, and then that just flops. I'm thinking of Disintegration from Marcus Lato. I'm thinking of Scavengers from Josh Holmes. There we go. That was a good railgun kill. All right, we got the rocket kill. Crap. Okay, I missed. Pong, a Sony over-the-shoulder. Yeah, if Sony made Pong, it would be a third-person, open-world adventure game with a main character who will not shut the hell up, for the love of God. It's okay, you can say the Callisto Protocol. Yeah, also Callisto Protocol, that's the most recent feeling. Why was the Callisto Protocol supposed to be part of the PubG universe? PubG doesn't have a universe. It doesn't have a story. I know that they say that it has lore, and I just don't accept that. It doesn't exist. He presents it as a tabletop faction, as the least likely scenario, though it would still be cool. Enemy plunked down game-ending Titan units, swarm it with infection forms, and turn the pilot your Titan now. Okay. Doesn't Warhammer, though, already have a faction kind of like that? Lawbreakers from Cliff Bleszinski. That's another good example, Lawbreakers. Though what's really sad is I feel like Lawbreakers had the most potential out of all the recent like gaming failures. Callisto Protocol as well. The Callisto Protocol, unfortunately, I don't think had a lot of excuses for why it turned out the way it did. It's a part of what, says Dan Storm? Yeah, okay, so embarrassingly, humiliatingly, the developers of PUBG think that PUBG has a universe. They think there is a thing called the PUBG universe, and the Callisto Protocol began development as a game set in this PUBG universe that I refuse to acknowledge. Thankfully, they realized how stupid that sounds, and they dropped it, so the Callisto Protocol is now an original IP. But wow, that's dumb, right? Titanfall, even though I love those games. Titanfall I wouldn't say is a failure now, because, well, Apex Legends. But yeah, Titanfall, if you look at Titanfall squarely as coming off of the creators of Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty 4, Titanfall is kind of a failure as a franchise, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Hey, LNG, what is your go-to weapon in Infinite Slayer? In Halo Infinite? Probably the assault rifle, because it's like the easiest weapon to use in that game. What the hell is going on in PubG? Nothing. It's just a battle royale game, and the developers are trying over and over to say that there is actually something going on. And my response is no. No, developers, there's nothing going on. Go back in your cubicle and put a Desert Eagle in your battle royale game. There is no universe or story here. Damn it. Okay. Pokemon is ending after 25 seasons with an 11 episode special to finish Ash's story. I'm not ready for the end of Ash's story, man. I want that little kid to be 10 forever. I want him to never achieve his goal. Out of all the Game of the Year awards you know about, what is the most pathetic and least deserving? Probably whoever won Best Soundtrack of the Year, because that should have gone to Sonic Frontiers. As for Game of the Year, what was it? It was Elden Ring. That's fair. That's fair that Elden Ring won Game of the Year. Yeah, put PubG in the lore timeout corner. Yeah, it's like bad. Like I have like a spray bottle and I'm like, stop it. Stop thinking you have a story, PubG. Go sit in the corner with your military guns and frying pans. To my knowledge, no, there isn't really a 40k army with a dedicated your units are now my units. Okay, so within the mechanics of the tabletop game. I'm thinking within the lore of the universe, isn't there? Do you still play Destiny? I've been trying to get into it, but the game isn't well optimized for new players. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've dropped off Destiny 2. The seasonal model is burning me out. Why Halo 4? To be honest, I'm not sure. I set a couple of games, and it keeps giving me Halo 4 matches. Oh, man. I'd argue Metal Hellsinger deserves the best soundtrack prize. No clue if it won, though. Yeah, there's a couple of... Who actually won best soundtrack? Don't tell me it was Elden Ring. Like, don't get me wrong, Elden Ring had really good music, but it's just FromSoft music, you know? Oh boy. Kirby won best family-friendly game. Bayonetta 3 won best action game. Kirby, that's good. That's fair. Kirby, well deserved. Forgotten Land is such a damn good game. You know, was Kirby nominated for best soundtrack? Because Forgotten Land's soundtrack kind of slaps. Well, I mean, it's a Kirby game. Of course the soundtrack slaps, but... I can't believe Halo Infinite didn't win. It's weird that Halo Infinite wasn't nominated for best soundtrack either. Halo Infinite fumbled the ball in a lot of areas, but where it did not fumble the ball was the soundtrack, thankfully. Like, they got it this time around. It took them 2 tries, but they got it. Should Halo 5 get a PC port or integrated into the MCC? To be honest, I'd port the campaign to Halo 5 Forge's app on the PC. That's what I would do. Because I don't think Halo 5 could even fit on the MCC. Not even to mention how little sense that would make, because you'd then have 2 different versions of Halo 5 on a single platform. Because it's not just about PC players. The MCC is a universal hub for the Halo series. So it wouldn't... Could you imagine being a Halo fan and it's like, you've got... Which version of Halo 5 are you playing? Halo 5 or Halo 5 MCC? And that would mean that they'd have to shut down Halo 5 servers if they were to bring it to PC, like they did with Halo 3, in order to not split up the player base too much. And Halo 5, so much of its systems are baked into the microtransactions, so what would you do with the microtransaction system? With the rec system, would Warzone come? How would you rebalance Warzone? Because Warzone is balanced around a pay-to-win system, you know, the loot boxes and stuff. Oh, lore-wise, yeah, you've got the Tyranids and their Gene Stealer cults, similar to the Hive Mind and enemy subversion tactics, but more convoluted versus the Flood. Yeah, they're called the Tyranids, aren't they? It's like a giant galactic superorganism. Halo CE has the best music, prove me wrong. I can't argue with that. Combat Evolved's soundtrack is pretty damn good. I am partial to Halo 3's just because it is mostly... Halo 3 cheats a little bit because it is just best hits of the Halo universe. And it has probably my favorite rendition of A Walk in the Woods. I mean, Halo 5 is pretty dead on Xbox. It is pretty dead, but, you know, if people are still playing it, let them. Let's see. I can't find games for Warzone Firefight in Halo 5, which is the only playlist I played in that game. Yeah, I noticed that. It's very hard now to find matches for, like, footage in my Evolution videos, especially in, like, modes like Warzone. You know, which, to me, I'm like, hey, 343, you guys probably should have made Firefight a thing we could customize, huh? In hindsight, it was probably not a good decision to tie it into matchmaking playlists that'll... where the population will get lower and lower over time, huh? Damn it. I changed my mind. Halo 3 is the best soundtrack. Yeah, Halo 3 is able to get away with that because it's just like, you liked that song from Halo Combat Evolved? Well, we did it again, this time with an orchestra. You like the monk chant? We remastered the monk chant. Oh boy. I forgot I don't have any weapons to switch to. Oh boy. Damn it. The worst Halo tick I've ever heard is that reticles in Halo Infinite should be tied to the FOV, which is way too small. Hang on, let me which, by the way, I agree with you, that I don't like the reticles being tied, but hear them out for a second. The logic is that if the reticle stays the same size as you blow out your field of view, the reticle will no longer represent the spread of the weapon. I don't know which Halo game is my favorite soundtrack-wise. I like them all. Yeah, Halo games, they slap when it comes to their soundtracks. Even the ones that don't really hit the mark, like Halo 4, 5, and Wars 2, it's still great video game music. Like, not good, great video game music. play some Halo 2 Anniversary. I still play Warzone Firefight rather frequently. Somebody says set your soundtrack to expanded for searching. Hello and Happy New Year, fellow enjoyer of the Space Circle game. Thank you. Thank you, you too. Happy Space Circle game. Halo 2 Anniversary's take on the soundtrack is lovely. It's my favorite. I used to like Halo 2 Anniversary soundtrack until I talked to Marty O'Donnell about it. Marty O'Donnell, the way he talked about the soundtrack made me view it in a new light, which is, he said they're using modern equipment and modern like orchestras and like making it all high definition, but the problem is they're not translating the sound. He was like, the reason Halo 2 soundtrack sounds the way it is isn't because Marty was limited. Like, he was limited with what he could work with by, you know, technology of that time period, but he designed the sound to sound good with those limitations. Halo 2 Anniversary, more or less one-to-one, remade the soundtrack with modern equipment, and it's going to sound different because of that. It's not going to have the same tone, and in some cases, they misunderstood the tone of certain tracks. Like, Peril in Halo 2 Anniversary is way too loud. It's not supposed to be that loud and bombastic. It's supposed to be a more silly, like, quiet piece. And for some reason, it's this massive, like, blowing your ears out operatic piece. And when he said that, it made me reevaluate some of that, and I do have to agree with him. Ambient Wonder in Combat Evolved is good. Yeah, Ambient Wonder slaps in Combat Evolved. I think I like Halo 2 or Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary soundtrack better than Halo 2 Anniversaries, because they more or less just tried to remaster the original music using the exact same audio equipment that Salvatore and Marty O'Donnell used. So it's like the same synths and everything that they used, just now in higher quality. Versus Halo 2 Anniversary, where they just used like entirely new instruments and stuff. Halo 2 Anniversary still has that lighting bug where it gets brighter over time, the multiplayer. Yeah, it also, unfortunately, I think it's probably because it's the Halo 4 engine, and the Halo 4 engine had this weird bug too. If the engine got overloaded, it would drop sound effects because of the way that they were like cached and handled. So, okay, it's working there, it's working fine, but then if I were to overload... Okay, it's all working fine then. But you know what I'm talking about, where every now and then, for some reason, your gun won't make any noises when you're handling it, when you're reloading it and stuff. It's just like it gets really quiet, and it drops the sound. And Halo 4 did the same thing, most notoriously with the energy sword, which was obnoxious when your energy sword stopped making noises in Halo 4. Grab this. Halo needs a new spin-off game, not necessarily ODST 2, but something different without Chief and Cortana. I agree. Halo's got to do something new. Whether it's a tactics game, whether it's a spin-off thing, like a Battle Royale type thing, like Halo's gotta try something a little bit different. I think the worst thing that 343 took away from Halo 5's failure was we need more Chief and Cortana. It's like people like the Green Man, but Halo 5 wasn't bad because it didn't have enough Green Man. It was bad because Locke wasn't a great character. Best BR sound? Oh man, best BR sound. Probably Halo 2, the original. Is that controversial to say? Halo 5's also isn't too bad. Why shouldn't they make a Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer over the... Why couldn't they just make the Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer over the original Halo 2, like the campaign? Was it because of time constraints, or the engine couldn't handle it? I believe it was different production. So different production studios. Certain Affinity did the multiplayer for Halo 2 Anniversary, while Saber did the campaign. And the way that this campaign worked was Saber Interactive has this... They call it like Saber Tech 3D or Saber 3D, and it's basically like an engine that runs over top another engine and replaces all the assets. That way, under the hood, it feels the same, but visually looks different. That's what they did for Quake Champions, I think. Quake Champions uses the Saber Tech. So under the hood, Quake Champions, if I remember right, it's using an original Quake game as its template, so that the movement feels like Quake, but the visuals are handled by Saber Tech. And as for the multiplayer, Certain Affinity had like... It was either 9 months or 7 months, one of the two, and they just opted to use the Halo 4 engine. Halo 4's BR sound could possibly make a decent, good brute sound effect. That, like, squeaking? I'm trying to think of what it could be. What if there was a feature in Halo Infinite where your weapon had a small % of jamming? That would be awful. That would be awful, man. And unfortunately, the game is currently suffering from a weapon jam bug. So I can confirm that it's a very bad idea. Locke wasn't that bad of a character. The entire Halo 5 story was just so badly paced and written. The standard for 343, obviously, but the Spartan Hunters wasn't a bad concept. It wasn't a bad concept at all. It was just, you know, bad execution. Like, I really think it shouldn't have been Mike Coulter. They should have gotten an actor who has charisma, and who actually gave a shit, so that they didn't have to dub over him with a different guy because of how bored he sounded. I think the armor should have been a lot better, because Locke's armor looks awful. It looks like a Metroid ripoff. Yeah, and the rest of Osiris, they should have just been played by more... They should have had more charisma behind them, because they had very muted and flat personalities. You managed to catch my last super? Let me see. An extragalactic superorganism, practically Lovecraftian. There's a striking image of a Titan, its maw approaching a peck-sized galaxy, the Milky Way. That is so freaking cool, man. I love stuff like that. I freaking love just, like, massive... Like, that was so much fun about my lore video, if you guys watched it, was visualizing the precursors in their scale. Here, we're probably going to do... I'm thinking one more match, and then we'll hop off. All right. Osiris could do with better armor. They really could have. A lot of their armor, it's just like it's... I think ironically, Tanaka, as boring as she is, she probably had the most solid Spartan-y looking armor out of all of them. But like Locke, he just looked like a Samus ripoff. Or Locke, somebody described it best. Spartan Locke's armor looks like a Chinese mobile knockoff of Halo. Like, shooter, sci-fi man, Ring World. You see it on the App Store, you know, and it's free to play, and it has Locke on it pointing at you. Like, he looks like a knockoff of Halo or Metroid or something. He doesn't actually look like a character from the Halo universe. Didn't Halo 5 get rewritten? No, Halo 5 did not get rewritten. Halo 5 did not get rewritten. The way the story was told to me is that, you want to know how Halo 5's story was bad? Prior to release, their scope was way too huge. Like what they wanted to do when they present it to their producers, they're like, here's what we got. We want to do all of these crazy, insane things. And they're told, in how many years? You want to do all this in like 2 to 3 years? No, you've got to scope down. And then production begins, and they have a smaller scope than they originally wanted. You've got writers who, aren't working the best with, like, the rest of the team. You got everyone kind of, like, compartmentalized and segmented into their own silos, not communicating very well. And unfortunately, the game just is disappointing. There aren't, like, these epic tales of betrayal and revenge and drama and espionage. And it's just... the game just didn't come together in the end. There we go. Damn it. It's the smart scope zoom sound effect. Huh? What am I missing out on? Well, Tyranids can adapt enemy characteristics. It's reactive in nature. The first Hive Fleet had to get murked by Psychers before the second Hive Fleet could clap back. Okay, got it. So they're not like the Flood. Like the Tyranids, they more or less just respond to things happening to them. How much does one get paid to have their likeness in a game? Way too much. Like, we'll probably never see Locke again in a video game, not because Locke was badly received, but because you'd have to pay for the likeness of Mike Coulter's face. So unless they want to redesign, if they want to redesign, Agent Locke, but the problem is Halo 5 is still so fresh that people might be like, whoa, why does Agent Locke look weird? That's kind of why in Halo 2 Anniversary, Lord Hood doesn't look like Lord Hood. He looks like an old man. Because in the Bungie games, Lord Hood just looked like a mashed potato Ron Perlman. Damn it. Biased, but I still love Buck even in Halo 5. Buck was boring in Halo 5, just because he just felt like Nathan Fillion. He felt like Cade 6. But Buck was fine. Laura Bailey was Spartan Vale. Yeah, Laura Bailey was Vale. They had like a lot of talent playing the different characters of Halo 5, and it sucks that like their direction wasn't good, because they all sounded like either bored or sleepy. Like, it was, like, bad performances from really good voice actors, which usually means it was just bad vocal direction. Oh, I'm too close to the entrance. Why did Halo 5 change the HUD color from blue to white? I believe that was Halo Infinite, wasn't it? Well, and the reason they did that is because of Call of Duty, because every game in the industry. If you look at Warzone, that HUD is not blue, it's white. If you look at Apex Legends, that crosshair, it's a white crosshair. It's just, following design trends. And they put a lot of work into it. They tried tons of different types of white, from like peaches to like maybe a super pale blue, and they just ended up on just kind of like generic first-person shooter white, which sucks. To fix Locke face problem, have Locke's face be scarred / somewhat deformed in the next Halo game. That way you could cover up the face and don't have to pay for the rights of the actor. That, or they could just straight up give him a big bushy beard. But, you know, unfortunately, unique, interesting-looking character design is not 343's strong suit. It's just guy without his helmet and nothing else. But could you imagine Locke with a big bushy beard because he's been surviving on Zeta Halo? It might be more because of the outlines, because you can't have a blue color light up blue if an outline is set to that. That's definitely a fair point as well. It's all wrapped into accessibility and modernizing the HUD. To which I say, I have muscle memory. I'm used to the HUD being like this. Oh no. Wasn't there concept art of Locke with a beard, or was that fan-made? It was unfortunately fan-made, because that piece of concept art kicked ass, right? Tanaka's speech moves me to tears every time, said no one ever. God, that... I get lately that people have been really bored, so they've been on the, like, we hate Bungie Halo, maybe? Because we're all bored. To war is funny. It's a bad line. But I'm like, you guys can't gaslight yourselves into thinking that Tanaka's speech wasn't worse than to war. Because Tanaka's unearned, we've come a long way speech is one of the worst parts in a Halo campaign. We've come a long way together, and it's been an hour and a half, and I still don't know who you people are. 5
minutes remaining.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how optimistic are you for Halo this year? Well, what do you mean by optimism? Like, optimistic that Halo will make a giant comeback? 2 out of 10. But optimistic that Halo will sustain itself, and there might even be pleasant surprises for Halo fans. Probably a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Halo will not become the juggernaut it was when Halo Infinite released on Steam. We'll never see those numbers again. But I have faith that they're going to be able to sustain the current population that's playing. Basically where Halo 5 was. You know, Halo 5 came out, nobody stuck around except for Halo fans. And so Halo 5 just appealed to Halo 5 players. Just got here. Any idea how long we have left? Unfortunately, this game. But the scary thing about the Flood, it outright incorporates their host's attributes. Infect a Psyker, and now the Flood can throw fireballs. Well, could the Flood do that? Well, maybe. 2 Wars, cheesy, badass, and theatrical fun line. Horrible strategic communication. I know not what to think of it. Like, within Halo 3's story, Halo 3 felt more like a series of vignettes that you could put in a trailer than it did like an actual story, if that makes sense. And within that lens, like, War's fine. You know? Make a trailer for Halo 3, you know, ba-ba-ba-ba, like, man, where are we going? Oh my god, they're all around the crater, like, everything's going on, what are we gonna do? Where should we send our troops? And then the music drops out. To war. Bum, ba-bum, but, like, it's fine as a line. It doesn't make sense, it's not realistic, but the line delivery was confident. Which is not what I can say about we've come a long way together. Got a long way yet to go. We're actually doing some damage in this thing. There we go. Now it's gone. Season 4 will be in fall, guaranteed. Something like that. Halo needs its cheese factor back. Well, be careful. Halo definitely does need cheese, but if you go too far, then you get, like, Tiki Crash Bandicoot head, happy, fun playtime Halo, which was Season 2 of Halo Infinite's Academy. Too much... There needs to be a balance in Halo. Compared to the new Star Wars films by Rian Johnson and unknown composer... Huh? Comparing 343 to Bungie scripts are like comparing amazing Star Wars or Indiana Jones originals with amazing directors, writers, and composers. Compared to new Star Wars films by Rian Johnson. But The Last Jedi was, like, really good. And it had a great soundtrack on top of it. Yeah, that's a hot take for you. The Last Jedi was really, really good. It was very meta, arguably a little bit too meta for Star Wars fans, but as a film, it was very well executed, minus some pretty bad humor here and there. It's just unfortunately got that problem of, like, every story now is a meta breakdown character analysis of the IP rather than a story set in the IP. The Last Jedi was really good. Yeah, I said what I said. Luke Skywalker wanted to build a new Jedi temple, right? He wanted to restart the Jedi Order. He was building it based off of the same Jedi Order that failed. That failed embarrassingly badly back during the prequel era. The Jedi Order didn't fall because of Palpatine. They fell because of their own failures. Like, you got Anakin Skywalker that they all failed to understand and value and appreciate what emotions are. And they just are like, stuff it, like, bury it. And, like, this guy is, like, sweating, and he's in the Jedi Temple, and he clearly has problems, and he needs help, and none of them are focusing on him or trying to care for him. Like, that shot of Anakin Skywalker in the Jedi Temple, and all the Jedi Masters are gone. And Anakin is at his lowest point, and he's sitting there alone in the council chamber, and there's nobody to help him. It's like... Anakin fell because of the Jedi Order. It was fundamentally flawed. So yeah, it totally makes sense that if Luke Skywalker was like, I'm going to restart the Jedi Order, the same one that failed my father. It's poetic in a sense that he also failed in almost the same way. He was so damn scared of the dark side that he failed to see the darkness that was in, what is it, his grandson? No, not his grandson. His nephew? What was Kai? It's been so long since I've seen that movie, but he was so scared of the dark side that he failed to see the good in Ben Solo. And because of that, Ben Solo fell to the dark side and orchestrated the second collapse of the Jedi Order. And so Luke Skywalker sees that and he internalizes the guilt and decides to just let the Jedi Order fall to failure. And then what's kind of nice about the idea of Rey coming out of nowhere and not having any lineage or heritage, she's not a Skywalker, she's not a Palpatine or anything, she's just a person who happens to be strong in the Force, like that little boy with the broom at the end. It symbolizes that the problem with the Jedi Order and the Sith Order is that they view the Force as this, like, dogma, where if you want to be gifted in the Force, you have to lead this very strict monk-like lifestyle that always, consistently leads to ruin. And what Rey showed him was that the Force doesn't belong to anybody, and the Jedi Order doesn't need to be this strict. Like, there's something very poetic about the ghost of Yoda, and then Luke as an old man sitting there and watching the second Jedi Temple, like, burning. And it's just, like, cycles and cycles of failures, and Yoda being like, you know, we need to move on from our failures. Like, the next generation, they're going to be the ones who get it. And it's like, yeah. You know, and then at the end, that little boy pulls the broom to him, and it's like, the Force is for everybody. It's not for the Jedi or the Sith. And that's why The Last Jedi is pretty good. One major threat to the early stage flood are the Necrods. They can't really infect metal, living or not. If the grave mine's around, though, logic play go burr. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Can we all agree that The Rise of Skywalker sucks? Yes. Yes, The Rise of Skywalker is a bad, bad film. It is the biggest waste of money and talent and time I think I've ever seen on screen. The Force is rated E for everyone. Exactly. It really is awful. Ask Mark Hamill. I don't care. I don't care what Mark Hamill thinks. I thought the movie was good. It was probably not the Star Wars movie fans were hoping for, but as a breakdown of Star Wars, I thought it was pretty damn good. Kind of like how Halo 4 is a pretty damn good story in a bubble, you know? I wish the Force could be liberated from Disney jail. Well, and what's awesome about The Last Jedi as well is that it totally set up the gray Jedi. Like, you've got Rey, who in The Force Awakens is like, oh, the mysteries of Luke Skywalker and the Jedi Order. And then it's like, no, the Jedi Order sucked. It sucked so much ass. Same with the Sith. And it's just kind of like the collapse of all of these myths and bringing up reality to the legends of the Force and stuff. And so going forward, Rey probably does not want to continue the failures of the Jedi Order and the Sith and stuff. So going forward, they probably could have established the idea of just like Force users, Force practicers and stuff. Because even Kylo Ren, the problem with him also is that he's still trying to like cling to the old legends in a sense. And when the old legends fail him, he wants to almost like do it but his way now. It's just like, it's good. Like, the movie has a lot of pretty damn good points that it's trying to make about the story of Star Wars. The problem is that it probably was not the direction they should have gone in. The whole breakdown of the Star Wars universe, it should have happened either immediately in The Force Awakens, or it should have happened in a spin-off movie that was more analytical. It should not have happened in the middle of a trilogy. Especially a trilogy that fans were anticipating for a while. Which is what I think The Mandalorian did a better job of. Is The Mandalorian was not like a breakdown of Star Wars. It was just a Western story set in the Star Wars universe. And so the trilogy, the Star Wars trilogy, probably should have been a story in the Star Wars universe rather than a trilogy about the Star Wars IP. You know? The fighting choreography in The Last Jedi was dog water. It was okay here and there. Definitely that throne room scene was a bit off. But it was for the most part okay. I will say, I think the end fight in Force Awakens was a little bit better, just because there was an emotional hook to it. It wasn't just action. Like, you had Kylo Ren having a breakdown and trying to keep himself angry by like beating his wound. That way the adrenaline keeps him going and he keeps staying like angry and frustrated. And they were just kind of like screaming and wailing at each other with lightsabers. So I think that was probably a little bit more interesting than the throne room, which was just like chaos. And it looked like the actors didn't know what they were doing. But yeah. Rise of Skywalker actually destroyed my love for Star Wars. Yeah, that Rise of Skywalker, it was, I remember just being in awe at how stupid some of it was like Kylo Ren, like, I didn't tell you what happened to your parents. Actually, you're a Palpatine. And I'm just like, oh my God, what's happening? I can't believe I'm watching this. What a waste of time. And then the end of the movie where Rey takes the, like, Anakin Skywalker was not born and raised on Tatooine because he loves that place. Luke Skywalker even hated Tatooine, and he couldn't wait to get off of it. So you've got Anakin, who was a slave on Tatooine, and Luke, who just wanted to leave it so badly. And so for Rey to be like smiling and carrying their lightsaber back to the place that they hated and burying it under the sand. Like, it's just like, what the hell are you doing? This is so bad. Oh, God. Oh, man. Yeah. Screw the Last Jedi discourse, man. Rise of Skywalker was awful. Easily the worst of that trilogy. The binary sunset at the end making no sense, too. Yes. The Rise of Skywalker, or Luke raising the X-Wing out of the water while smiling and nodding at Rey. It's like, this is so bad. What's happening? Oh my God. Well, I have yet to watch it myself. I probably won't after seeing that and the Holdo character's simultaneous and hilarious and tasteless death. Insert equality tasteless joke that would probably get filtered. Yeah, like, The Last Jedi is by no means flawless, but there is enough in it to where I'm like, that was a good movie as opposed to a bad movie. It's a balancing act between the bad elements and the good elements. Is The Last Jedi better than the original trilogy? No. No, it's not. The original trilogy was the original trilogy. It not just pioneered filmmaking, it pioneered blockbuster storytelling, you know, so it came from a creative root. The prequels, as sloppy and messy as they are, they still have like that frenetic, like, oh my God, he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's so passionate about it, like energy that George Lucas gave off during that time period. The Last Jedi is the best of the Disney trilogy, in my opinion. And it has enough good ideas to where I can say it is a good movie and I can rewatch it and enjoy myself. But Rise of Skywalker is oh boy. Oh boy. This and the Palpatine message in Fortnite. I forgot about that. Yeah, the Palpatine message in Fortnite. It's also like just, oh God, Palpatine was stupid in The Rise of Skywalker as well. Like, that was so dumb. They did exactly what I thought they were going to do. What's fun about Palpatine is how theatrical he is and how like, the Sith. Like, he has this high-pitched voice. He sounds like a scary old man, you know? And if Hollywood got their hands on Star Wars, what would be the first thing they'd do? They'd pitch down his voice and make it booming. My boy. And that's exactly what he sounded awful in Rise of Skywalker. It was a bad Palpatine. He wasn't hamming up the scenes. He had this stupid filter on his voice that made his voice low-pitched. He seemed like a Hollywood monster, not like the fun, wacky Shakespearean emperor, you know? The Force Awakens is the best of the Disney trilogy. There's also some of that. The Force Awakens, I think, is just a fun love letter to, like, all the various things about Star Wars. And there's a couple of good moments in Force Awakens. Like, Kylo Ren, I do think, was the best character to come out of Disney Star Wars. Probably outside of The Mandalorian. Let's see. The Force Awakens is a 10 out of 10. Well, okay, I wouldn't go that far, but... Back to Halo. There's a 2-part video about Halo 4 called Halo 4 is Worse Than You Remember. It's a review by Andy. I wondered if you had time to watch it. To be honest, I don't know if I want to watch something like that, because it's dead. It's dead, you know? Like, we get it. Like, I don't care to hear more complaints about the sandbox, more complaints about the art style, more complaints about the Promethean's music, tone, story. Like, the conversation's already been had. I don't want to keep that conversation going. Crazy how Kylo Ren was actually just crapped all over by the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, Kylo Ren, he should have died as a villain, I think. Late night gaming, I was like, oh, cool, yellow lightsaber. Wait, that's the end? Yeah, that was pretty much the end. Me, when I'm in a rebellion, so I rebel. God, don't give it, like... If we want to talk about Star Wars, we can keep going for maybe another 10 minutes. Rogue One is not great. It's fine, but it's not great. It is almost good, but the main character is a boring nobody, and the cast are boring nobodies, except for the funny robot, because he's the funny robot. It's not great. The action scenes are cool, and that's about it. But outside of that, there isn't... Like, most of the characterization work happened in the trailers for the movies. Like the I'm a rebel, so I rebel. Like, in the movie, there's almost nothing there in regards to, like... So when they died, it was just like, okay. Have you watched Andor? To be honest, I haven't, because I don't care about that character from Rogue One. I was like, who? Him? They're making a show about him? Why? Which sucks, because apparently Andor is really good. I just don't care. Like, I have limited time, and I don't want to spend the time watching a show, even if it's good, about a character I don't care about. It's not just a yellow lightsaber, it's a gold lightsaber. Rogue One was alright. Like, it's alright. The saving grace is Alan Tudyk. Oh, yeah, he was a director Krennic. He was also pretty good. What was not good, and why I also think Rogue One, something I can't, like, when I rewatch it, I have to, like, force myself to stay focused on what's going on. The weird Gumby CGI Tarkin, that's bad. That was stupid. They should not have done that. The technology wasn't there. And on top of that, it's very eerie and creepy that they resurrected the corpse of Peter Cushing and put him on strings to dance for Disney. It's just like, it's creepy and weird. They didn't need to have Peter Cushing, zombie CGI Peter Cushing, be in that movie. It was very bad and distracting, and it gave me the heebie-jeebies. What about Solo? Solo was fine. It was just kind of like a waste of time, is what I felt like. Like, it's Solo, I don't consider it canon. If I look at Han Solo and Chewbacca, Solo's not what I think about. That's not how they met. I don't consider, like, Chewbacca, huh? You're gonna need a nickname, because I'm not saying that every time. It's like, what's the nickname gonna be? Is it gonna be Chewie? And then it's Chewie, and then everyone claps and applauds, and it's like, this is so dumb. Or how he got his name. It's like, why can't his name just be Solo? That's weird and Star Warsy, right? Like, and Solo's a fine movie. Like, it's perfectly fine. It's just, it's very easy for me to forget it and forget that it's canon. I hear Boba Fett is fun to watch. You recommend it? I have not seen the Boba Fett show because I heard it's not good. And I also, Boba Fett's another character that I don't care about. Not because Boba Fett isn't cool, he is. The problem is, it's like, it's like a Lando Calrissian movie. I don't care. I don't want to see a Lando Calrissian movie. Lando Calrissian is awesome, though. I want to see him supporting other characters. I don't want him to get his own movie. And Boba Fett's the same way, where Boba Fett's really cool, but not cool enough to where I'd sit through an entire series about him, you know? I have nobody. Han Solo. 'Cause you're Solo. It's like, come on, man. What is this? Who made this movie? Have you watched Kenobi? If you have, then God help your soul. Kenobi was 72% good. There is that 28% that is not good, but 72% of it was pretty good, which is why Kenobi I will give a pass. But there is 28% of Kenobi that's very much not good. I heard an idea for a Lando Calrissian show where he's telling stories in a casino. That's fun. See, that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. What I really want to see Disney do is I want them to do prequel stories. I want them to tell stories outside of the original trilogy. Because something that really kind of like sucks, unfortunately, about Kenobi is it's inserting a lot of history in between episode 3 and episode 4 that I don't think is necessary, and in fact I think might actually detract from the universe. Like it's very silly that it's like, you know, when last we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Except for that one time when I buried you under fucking rocks. Do you remember that, Obi-Wan Kenobi? When I found you a couple of years after all that shit went down and I put you under rocks? Like, it's very silly to be adding to that and have them be engaged in conflicts and stuff. We need a grunt armor core. Have you played the Age of Empires series? Of course I have. Age of Empires 2, Age of Kings is one of my favorite games ever. They resurrected the corpse of Peter Griffin. Exactly. Star Trek is better than Star Wars. Now, hang on for a second, because Star Trek, I haven't seen the new Star Trek stuff, but last I checked, we were still on Discovery and the Picard series, which weren't great. Throwing an idea at the wall and see it stick. Live vid reaction for Solo or Star Wars. Also, Darth Maul showing up at the end of Solo. Yeah, that was very silly as well, Darth Maul being at the end of Solo. So, you want Andor? No, I don't really want Andor. It's okay, you can keep Andor. Never got the appeal of Star Trek. Star Trek is, what's great about Star Trek is at least watch season 2 of Star Trek The Next Generation, because that's when it gets really good. The idea of a ship in deep space exploring uncharted parts of the galaxy, and just every episode they run into a new alien race or a shipboard emergency, or they have to dock and somebody steals a thing. And it's a great excuse for things to happen every episode. It's very good, Star Trek, at least The Next Generation, past season 1. Alrighty, guys. This was good fun. Good Star Wars talk. I don't know where it came from, but thank you guys for joining the stream. I shall see you hopefully on the next video, and Happy New Year's. Take care, everybody. Battlefront 2 or Battlefront 2? If you pointed a gun to my head, I would have to go with the 2005 version, just because that is the Smash Bros equivalent of a shooter. It is fun, it is easy, it is accessible, and easy to pick up for all ages, and it has a party atmosphere to it. The new Battlefront 2 is also pretty good, but it's a lot more hardcore in its mechanics and stuff. It can get sweaty, whereas the 2005 Battlefront doesn't have a lot of room to get sweaty in. So I think it has a little bit more playability for most audiences than the new one. So there we go. All right, guys. I shall see you later.